For this next string wrapper class example, we'll look with starts with for searching. This is a really common interaction that you'll remember from your, strictly speaking, use case. So instead of being a developer, this is something you're going to be familiar with as a user of programs. So what essentially is happening here is I have an array full of names, and it doesn't matter how we populate this array with names. My suggestion to you is going to be this will have been populated using a file from someplace, right? Because look at what we've got here. We've got a couple of delimiters that we've got in our string here, right? We've got the double quotes, and we've got this comma here. So that's going to be something we're going to come back and look at in another example. But my suggestion to you is these might have come from, and very, very probably will have come from, in ordinary business use cases, these are going to come from a file. So I have names, I have last names, I have first names. Last name, first name, last name, first name. You get the idea. So we are looking for, I'm going to let this run in the background in the meantime. We are going to get from our keyboard a new input. We're going to call that lookup. So we are going to request the first few characters of a last name to look up. Does it matter that it's a last name here? No, not really, right? Because we just have people in our string. We do not have first names and last names. We just have string data. What we're really doing here with line 18 and 19 is we are giving our end users a restriction so that it kind of tempers their expectations of what the return will be. Remember, good developers never leave this stuff to chance. We always help the user form an opinion of what the interaction is going to be here for our, the end user client side interaction. So I've got lookup, and that's going to be my next line. So that's going to be my string. So what happens here is we've just got a display. Here's the names that match. What we're going to do is string person in people, right? So people is the name of the string I have here. This is just an enhanced for loop. So this string called person is my reusable variable that helps me iterate through my enhanced for loop. So we're saying if the line that was read, so each one of these user data pieces, so person.starts with lookup, and you'll remember lookup is the couple of characters that we get in from the user that we're trying to search for, system.out person. So if we've got starts with those characters, output the person. So over here in our output window, I'm going to say DAV. Now, here's something to notice. I have a capital D there. We're going to run this again when we're done and see if that maintains itself. So DAV, I've got a Davis George, I've got a Davis Jenny. That does map successfully to what we've got in here. So that worked, right? So why did that work? Because each one of these, so I'm going to highlight that there, each one of these strings is an element in people. This enhanced for loop reads an element from people into person. Each time that person string starts with my characters, capital D, A, V, each time it starts with that, just puke out the variable person here and its value. So that's it. So here's the question. What happens if I run this again? And instead of capital DAV, I just put DAV all lowercase. Here are the names that match Bubkus. So why is that the case? It's the case because when we pass to starts with, when we pass to that string method lookup, and remember lookup is just the keyboard entry we got from there, we are not doing anything to the names in our array for people, and we're not doing anything to the characters here for lookup, to make sure that we are being, I'm going to call it, for lack of giving away the answer to this, we're not being egalitarian. We're not saying you can put in all uppercase. We're not saying you can do lowercase. We're not saying mixed case here. So without doing a little bit of massaging to our data, this is functional, but my suggestion to you is incomplete, because otherwise what we would have to do here, and this is still not complete if we do this, what we would have to do here is on line 18, we would say enter the first few characters of the last name to look up. But really, we're doing ourselves a disservice by not saying something. I should have known I was read-only. But we're doing ourselves a disservice by not saying something here that alerts the user, please start with a capital letter, right? Because they don't know I have to start Davis with a capital D until we tell them. So actually, one of the questions in your end of chapter exercises, I did say end of chapter exercises, I meant program challenges, is to take this program stub. It's just enough to get you going. It's to take this and to ensure that no matter how a user enters that data, to actually return the result that the user, are looking for. Because remember, it is always your job as the developer to make this data entry easier for the user, because it's not their job to conform to your data. It's your job to help them conform to the needs of your data.